Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good evening. Good to see you guys coming in. Hey, Miss Justice, all right. Number one in here tonight. God bless. There you go. And Sue, you're number two. Much love. Hi, PG. Much love to you, girl. Purple Hearts for Summer. I so appreciate that, Sue. I really do. God bless. And let's see who's number three. Robin. All right. Number three. Hey, PG and chat. Hey, hey, hey to you. Good to see you in here. Number four. Bridget. All right, girl. There we go. Hey, PG. I hope you had a good day today. Much love for you and PG baby too. Aw, we appreciate that. We appreciate it. God bless. And let's see, Ladybug, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, Lisa. Good to see you too. Let's get down through here. Hey, Hollerboo, how you doing? Good to see you in here tonight. AIs, good to see you. Let's see who else is in here. There's Texas Blue. Jack, good to see you. Let's see. Hey, man, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, girlfriend. Thorn free. I'm trying to get everybody as I go down through here. Hey, C, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, U3A? Good to see you. Patty Ponytail. Good to see you, girl. Absolutely. Hey, PG Mon Chat. Much love and prayers. Purple Hearts prayers from Summer. God bless you. God bless you. Hey, Jersey. How you doing? Hello, chat, PG. I want to wish you all a happy Turkey Day tomorrow. First for Miss Summer Moon. Amen. Absolutely. Hey, happy Turkey Day to you too. Legendary, how you doing, sweetie? And Linda, how you doing? Good to see you. Dartmouth, Pauline. 1024, what's up? Hey, PG, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. God blessings. Oh, that's beautiful. That is absolute. I love the doves. I love the doves. Or those angels. It looks like doves. Might be angels. Might be angels. They're so small. PG can't see that great anymore, right? Especially trying to look at a computer screen. Hey, Angel, how you doing? Starbucks, what's up? Good to see you. And let's see. There's Ladybug. Always L8. How you doing, sweetie? The other Rockin' Robin, Janet. All right. I think I'm at the bottom now. You guys. Summer Wells was reported missing on June 15, 2022. Absolutely. Absolutely. She was 5 at the time. Her Rogersville home in Tennessee, blonde hair, blue eyes, contact TBI with tips. Amen. Oh, good to see you, Chris. Good to see you. God bless. Good to have you here. 2021 misprint. Let me go back. Yeah, I was reading it. It is 2021. Even I didn't catch that. Right? I didn't catch it either. I was reading it too fast. Anyway, Um, I'm gonna just I double checked on I called double checked on uh much love to you, Chris. Much love to you. Um I double checked on Summers. I called Hawkins County and double checked on if Fred was cleared or not cleared, right? If it came out of Pruitt's mouth himself. That's what I needed to know. Did Pruitt say this is false? So I'm going to let you guys hear the phone call because I did call.
Thank you for County Sheriff's Office. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For Central Dispatch, call 423-272-7121. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it now. For administration, press 1. For the jail, press 2. For visitation or commissary, press 3. Sheriff's Office.
Hi, is Detective Pruitt available by any chance?
He is not. Would you like his voicemail?
No. I would like to know. There's been a rumor floating around that Detective Pruitt has sent a lady.
Totally false.
It is. Did you ask Pruitt about it and he said yes, it is false?
I spoke with his supervisor and I spoke with him. It is totally false.
I spoke with the supervisor and I spoke with him. It's totally false. Totally. Absolutely false, right? I needed to know that Pruitt himself said it was false, right? That's what I was after. So it's all false. Absolutely 100%, Fred. You are still a big suspect, right? You're a big suspect. And I sure hate to be, this wasn't the end of the conversation. I said I talked a little more, but that ain't for the ears out here. It's okay. I appreciate that. And then I went on to talk to her about something else. But that's for a later date. When I hear something back. Then I'll let you all know. I'll let you all know about the second half when I hear something back. But I just needed to know, if Pruitt himself was the one that said, hey, yes, this is completely false. I wanted to know if her ears heard it out of the horse's mouth, right? Because I don't want to hear later, oh, we got this wrong and actually, I needed solid verification that, that this was indeed verified by Pruitt himself, that he did not send no email like that. And he didn't, and he didn't. So there you go. Now, everybody knows that there was a part 3 with, with the woo-woo, the boogie woo-wooers, right? The woo-wooers on part 3. And anyway, Fred was talking some stuff. He was talking some stuff, actually. And he was talking about, this tunnel, and this tunnel's on private property, and on this private property, you know, they be doing some, you know, sacrifices. Okay, I'm bringing you up, Ernie. What's up, Ernie? How you doing, sweetie? I can't hear you.
Well, hello. How are you guys? Everybody doing right? Everybody's good?
We doing right. Amen.
Awesome. Awesome. Good deal.
Hey,
So,
happy Thanksgiving, Ernie. Happy Thanksgiving.
thank you. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody in here too as well. So, I believe you got the answer. Everybody's got the answer now, right?
Absolutely. I just needed to know it came out of the horse's mouth. Pruitt himself saying, "No, I did not send it." Right, and she verified that. She verified it.
Mhm. Not only did she verify that, she verified the supervisor over Pruitt as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, it's definitely false. And, you know, actually it's a misdemeanor felony, but it carries a year in jail and up to a big fine as well. So I wonder if they're going to, you know, if they're going to proceed on that, or if they're just going to, like, you know, drop it where it lays, or what they're going to do in that aspect, because you can't impersonate you
No,
cannot
no.
impersonate law enforcement.
No, you can't. And,
No.
you know, I wonder how much havoc that's really caused. It's caused a lot of havoc, and a lot of people probably been calling and, like, I mean,
No,
you know, they're up in
absolutely.
arms, like, whoa, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. You know, I mean, like, the phone line just been, you know, um, totally, you know, totally congested with, you know, tons of phone calls coming in on this particular topic, you know, and other things, but where Summer's case is concerned. But, you know, I was glad to hear, you know, to solidify it so we can move forward, you know, and Fred's still a suspect. Now, he was on, you know, the woo woo third, you know, uh, strike one, strike two. So he was on strike three on last night. And they was talking about, you know, um, the old mill, the old Rogersville Mill Company, and they were talking about some tunnel. He was talking about a tunnel. Now, here's the weird thing.
Surely not a tunnel, PG. Surely not a tunnel.
Well, he says this tunnel's on private property, and you know, people like to go down there and sacrifice people inside this tunnel. And I'm like, what the hell?
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, you know,
Ain't that wild? Wouldn't that be something if that's like something that did, like, kind of like it turns around and then it's going to be like all going into fitting into the child trafficking world. I mean, it's crazy. It's some of the craziest stuff ever.
I'm going to tell you something. Um, Man, I want to tell you, if these people are in a cult, that's even more reason not to ever join one. Right? Because it's like, whoa. I mean, they could all these mother freakers put their heads together and still wouldn't have enough, you know, enough energy to light up a Christmas bulb, let alone a real light bulb, right? It's like, whoa.
1,000%. I'm telling you.
It's like, shit, I don't even think you get a spark. That's just my opinion. But Fred did the Candace. Fred did the Candace, right? He done the Candace, Ernie, straight up. Watch this. Watch this. Take a look at this. He straight up done the can. I didn't know he could do that dance.
You know, I'm telling you.
Now listen. this right here, this right here,
Mhm.
the first one runs to Morrison Cemetery across the road, down and around to Morrison, Morrison Cemetery Road. Now look at this, Ernie. The second one right here is where this old mill is supposed. Where he was talking about the old mill supposed to be. Look, and then the third one is down where they were searching down on Van Hill Road. Now, if you take a look, 110 Ben Hill Road is at the top. Is at the top up here. 110. In every one of them, the red dot at the top, the red dot in the first picture is 110. The red dot in the third picture is 110. And in the middle picture, the red dot is the meal, but it's coming from 110 up here. So at the top of all three of these is 110 Ben Hill Road. This is a solid loop all the way mother freaking around to all of this stuff. It's a solid loop to the meal. It's a solid loop to where they were searching. It's a solid loop to the cemetery, over to the cemetery and down to the cemetery road. It's one big loop for 110 Ben Hill Road. Like all of it stuck right there in that vicinity. And when law enforcement said that they believed that Summer was close, and they they hinted that they was looking underground, not above ground for her, and they
Right.
believed she was in there close, was somewhere close. They're right. I think she's somewhere right here in this loop. She's in this loop right here. That's my opinion. I think that law enforcement, they know that Candace did not have time to go outside of this loop. From the time she got home to the time she called law enforcement, they know she couldn't have got out of this loop. Now,
You remember when I talked about it, and I talked about it on Brooks too, and she named it. When I said about how they need to make a certain mileage around, I said 9.5 miles. Look at the mileage within it. It's right at it. And people are like, "Whoa, how did you know that?" I was like, "Well, because you start out making a mushroom. When you search for people, you start making a mushroom. You try to go 10 miles in, depending on how much time you had. If the timeline." I still don't believe the timeline. I believe they had to give them more time. I believe they had to give them more time to do something, but they didn't have it because they knew the police had to be involved as well.
right?
So that gives you the 9.5 miles, which would meet where they's at Fred's or over at Fred's people's house and everything, looking and going back. But you got a perfect diagram here. It's perfect. I like it. It goes all the way around, like you said. It encloses that in.
Yeah, right. And I'm going to tell you, the weirdest thing is that Timothy Morrison, he passed away there on June, I think it was June the 11th. I'd have to recheck it. See, I don't remember. They remember the dates. Andy Bernard remembers dates, but I don't, because it is significant to me when Timothy Morrison died. What's significant to me is June the 15th, 2021, when Summer disappeared. So that's what I'm remembering. But he passed away a few days before Summer disappears, and he's buried. I know he's buried on the 18th of, a few days after Summer went missing, because it was 3 days, like, when Jesus raised, and, he died on the cross and he rised in 3 days. So he was put down 3 days after Summer disappeared on the 18th. Now, here's my thing. Now, they know that law enforcement is going to be all over there. They may not have been able to set the vault. They might not have been able to put the vault in until closer to his, like closer to when he's going to be buried. So water, nothing could get into it. So that other place could have been a holding tank. The property they're checking could have been a holding tank until they was able to, until they was able to move her and to, down there under the vault. It's a very good possibility that they were able to bring her in and move her, when the vault was going to be put in. Because you got Andy Bernard. Andy Bernard is talking about the cemetery, Morrison Cemetery. He says he doesn't care what anybody thinks. He ain't afraid to say it. He thinks she's underneath that man's grave. You got law enforcement getting a tip onto Fred's uncle's, property, which, in my opinion, that would, implicate Fred, if you ask me. And then you got Fred now talking about this mill place that's in the middle here. And tunnels that they sacrifice people under and all, and all kinds of weird stuff like that. And Don Wells supposedly did tell Marlena Crawford's dad that, Summer was sacrificed for his sins, right? For his sins. And, that could be taken two ways. That could, be taken as in, ritual sacrifice, like Fred's talking about. Or it could be taken, as in due to Don's twisted mind and sickness and the things that he did and was allowing to be done to these children. It cost Summer, to have to be done like that, to have to be destroyed like that.
Well, and also
a sacrifice to him.
And see, this also plays a play in the part where, and I hate to say this because I got hit so hard with this, but the fact is, it's not like he said. Even Don said it. It's not going to be good. It's going to be some predator, when he's going on in that. But he says he plainly tells on himself, and that's what I was trying to tell everybody. He plainly tells on himself because he's like, they probably beat the F out of her. And because of the internet and the YouTubers and all the big thing, he said they probably done away with the evidence and then they killed her. So if you do away with the evidence before you kill someone, then that's sexual assault. You see what I'm getting at?
Right.
Because you can't do away with a murder weapon until after you kill someone. Think about that.
Yes.
And he plainly says they did away with the evidence. Well, and then they killed. So he mentioned the hammer. Candace mentioned the hammer to me, and I was like, "There's no way. This has to be." And remember, I went with this. I said this is what happened, and it could go right along with sacrifice. I mean, you never know about this case. It's just so many people, so many players in it, and it makes no sense to me.
I often wondered because like Don Wells really, really didn't diligently stick with anything. Like he was throwing all kinds of different people under the bus to keep the focus off himself. I know that. And then he was putting her, in Mexico, putting her at, some hotel, putting her here, putting her there, putting her in a basement. But the one thing that he didn't ever change was the hammer. You got that right. He constantly stayed on the hammer thing, and he constantly mentioned the hammer in her head. The hammer in her head. And that he is diligently, like he said that multiple times on, to the news, to different creators' channels. And it's the one thing he diligently kept, consistent. And that is very bothersome. That's very bothersome.
Well, there's a lot of things with that. And I know there's a lot of people's told a lot of people things, but here's the thing too. You know how they said it was on the mattress at the corner. If you look at it ain't the whole mattress. Look, let me just say this, guys. If it's youngins peeing and using the bathroom on the bed, it's usually not the corner part or the top part of the mattress. Okay,
No, it's
it's in the
metal.
middle. It's in the middle or
Mhm.
around that area. Here's
Yeah,
something else too. A poured pot. Didn't I heard Candace say this? It's soda. I'm gonna tell you something. Mattresses are made to absorb. It's going to absorb it, and after a while, it's not going to be visible. But let me
that
tell you what blood and matter will do. It will soak in, and it will leave a crease. If you killed someone out in the road, the blood stays in the road. It stains the road. They literally have to get that up. Like it takes an act of God to get that up. Let me tell you this. Whirly
right,
Pace, Whirly was my mom was her family and everything, and Garl Pace killed him. They chained him up with chains and drug him from a car and run over him back and forth. They left stains all over the road where they killed him at and everything. And
right.
and those blood stains, and this is back in the day, and everybody would talk about those blood stains. Even when it would rain, the blood stains would still be there. His matter, like they would that came like a big place and everything, like right there on top of the hill in Pumpkin Center where you was killed at Disney there. It was always there. I mean, like it's for I don't even know if it's years or what, but you could still see the stains in the road.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't matter. They can actually lay over top of that, and you're right. Every time it rains, it's going to come up through. That's it, in a home, in homes where people are done like that. The
It goes back to the Bible, PG.
it's in,
You remember when Cain killed when Cain killed Abel?
absolutely,
He said
and
his blood cry from the ground.
yes, it says your brother's blood cried out to me from the ground. That's exactly what it said. And when God asked him, about his brother, he said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Well, you don't have to be your brother's keeper, but you shouldn't be your brother's. You shouldn't unalive your brother as well. Just leave your brother alone. You're not his keeper. You're your own keeper, and you're responsible for yourself. You have no right shedding no one's blood, no one's.
And now they're saying the sacrifice stuff in the tunnel. Notice everything. See, and then that goes back. And for me, that part right
Everything,
there, it's just like everything goes back to child trafficking. Demons and satanic stuff with them. I mean,
yeah.
it's like what?
Like these people do nothing but talk about, all that woo-woo stuff. I mean, the Bible tells you that you're not to be messing with or affiliating yourself with, sorcerers and witches and warlocks and it says you ain't even supposed to affiliate yourself with familiar or unfamiliar spirits, that you are not to be doing that. And I think you best listen to God because when the man in the Bible affiliated himself, with that, he had that witch, call up one of the apostles, and he said, "Why are you disturbing my rest? Right? Why are you disturbing my rest?" And and he let the man know that he's going Saul. He let him know that he's not going to live, and he didn't. I mean, wouldn't you be afraid to be messing with that kind of stuff? And there's been a lot of people, like this lady, she's on the way home and she decides to turn into one of those, woo-woo places and mess with those people. And the woman told her, that she wasn't going to make it home. And she didn't. But if she wouldn't have stopped there, she'd have probably made it home, right? She'd have made it right on home.
One of
Some
my high school teachers, Miss Morris, she played with a Ouija board the first time in her life,
Oh,
and that
wow.
night, it told her that there was going to be a death in her family. Her husband hit a semi that night,
Oh,
coming home from
wow.
work.
Wow. There were some kids behind a school building playing with one of those things. And this kid goes home and something's following him. he can't see but he could hear it. He could hear it go, come in with him. He could hear it coming up his stairs with him. And you get stuff on you. You get stuff on you when you play with that kind of stuff. Evil stuff, you get it on you. And, no matter, I guess his parents felt that if they moved, if they just got out of the house and moved, no, it was attached to him because he was behind that school doing evil stuff that he shouldn't have been doing, It don't work like that. I don't think people understand, don't open doors. Don't open doors because there are a lot of doors are really hard to close.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And I'll give you another case. Everybody was playing with a Ouija board when we was little kids. We was 16, 17 years old. And Jeremy Bowman, he was playing with a Ouija board. And he made it mad. And it was one of them, it writes out. Like it reverse writes, and it's got a mirror. And it said danger, danger. And he said, F your danger. And it pretty much told him he would not live to see 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
I swear to God, 3 months before his birthday, he had testicular cancer, and it killed him so fast. Like, he died 2 days before his birthday.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. And not only that, but you could throw those things away and they'll come right back. They'll be in your closet the next morning. They'll show back up just like those books. I heard, I did not go with the people. I did not see any of this, but from what I was told, they threw this book in some water and it came back wet. It showed back up wet. So you think you can get rid of that stuff. You're so wrong. You can't once you get into that kind of stuff, it is super hard to get away from it. I don't play with that kind of stuff. Oh God, no.
If you go to my lives, we talk about people went missing one time when we was in Cowpen, South Carolina. And if Cowpens is famous for the war, the Battle of Cowpens, right? In history. So she claimed to be a witch. She was my sister's friend, and she went missing, and she was missing for days upon days, and we could not find her. So when they searched her house, it was the church. The church actually was, and I was with them. And when they searched the house, they found all kind of demonic stuff in her house, like books and stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
I swear this happened to anybody, and there's no way this could have ever happened. I watched a guy that weighed about 230 pounds, out of shape. He was a deacon in the church, reach down and pick a pentagram ring up off the floor. And as he picked it up, something picked him up and knocked him back about 15 foot, flew through the air, hit where the stairs goes, and fell down and rolled down the steps kill him. There is no way he could have jumped that far backwards. And I'm not talking about forwards. I'm talking about backwards. And right when he did it, there was this big cold chill come on everybody. When we moved her bed, they had a pentagram and had all kind of satanic symbols up under the bed, and it had salt around that pentagram to try to bind. They was trying to bind something in, and they were literally scratches like something was trying to come through the floor. It was crazy. It was scary. Even the police was there helping us look for it and everything. They seen it. They didn't know what to think. I mean, everybody got that cold feeling, and they was all kind of cold, strange things that happened in. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. Did they ever find her or no?
They did. She came walking in, and then catch this. So when she came walking in, she sat down in the house. She sat down in her house, and we was like, "Where you been? What's going on?"
Was it after they removed the salt away from the pentagram?
No. We left out of that. They moved her bed out of the way and everything because they were looking for her. Mom was looking for her. A day after that, she came walking in our house. She sat down beside my sister, and my sister was fixing stuff in the stove. As my sister got up, we was all, saying, Jenny, you okay? Everything good? Everything going on? She was completely dazed out of it, didn't even know nothing. As my sister opened the oven door, and as she bent down to get whatever's in the oven out, it blew up. The oven blew up. It burnt her eyebrows, it singed all of her hair and everything. So Melissa had to go to the hospital. So
Oh,
she was
wow.
rushed. Yeah, she was rushed to the hospital. And the whole time, Jeannie was sitting there laughing and everything. I never will forget this. Never ever will forget this. My mom can tell it better
Wow.
than I can. But yeah, it was some of the most craziest stuff that happened to us. I mean, I learned to believe in
Oh,
God real quick. Like, I mean, it was a hellacious nightmare that them times was.
did you guys put her out of the house and rebuke her ever coming back around?
So get this, she's laying. We're trying to take care of her because she's out of it. So we called Gedman. We called him Gedman and everything. He was one of the preachers, and he was a Pentecostal preacher. He
After
comes
you
over.
laughed at your sister?
Yes, yes. I mean,
Oh,
my mom's over at the hospital. My sister, Jenny, still. We didn't know what was going on still. Devin comes over and she's laying on the couch. When we lived in Cowpen, she's laying on that couch, and he turns the light on. As he turns the light on, I swear to God, there was probably 10,000 or more, maybe more than that. I mean, you couldn't see her hair for life. Like
what?
literally, you could see it crawling everywhere on her. It was the. I was like, oh my God. And I mean, I was like, I'm seeing things. He's like, no, 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 no. He said, demons infesting filth and stuff. He said, that's what that is. I said, there's no way. I've never ever seen that medically, ever even seen anything like that. I've never heard of being able to even see lice, but you can
Whoa.
see them crawling in her hair. Like it
Wow.
covered her hair. It was just like you dumped a whole bucket of lice in her head.
Oh my goodness. And so okay, go on. Do tell.
So after that was over, Dan Tamerman was preaching. It was in 2000. This happened in 2000. It was camp meeting 2000 in South Carolina. So they called him up from his hotel. He comes out because he's like the missionary preacher guy that everybody is. And I'm telling you, when he went and done that camp meeting 2000, it was
Uh-huh.
under a huge tent. And he'd
Right.
been in the Middle East. He'd been in the Middle East for years and years and years preaching. And like when there was like 5,000 people under a huge tent. So he was working like miracles and stuff like that. He was telling, through God and everything. Well, anyways,
Right.
he comes over and he picks her up and everything, and he starts talking to her, and he's like, she's possessed. And I was like, I
What?
don't believe. I said, I don't believe in this shit, and I really did. I didn't believe. I didn't really believe anything, but I learned real fast to believe because after he literally like she went mental right there. She went crazy, but he
Oh,
was like, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke you, Satan, and everything. And it was just like, I mean, I could sit here and tell you what all happened, and y'all be like, "There's no way." The lights was flickering, like the lights flicker where the lights was on, and I was like, "There's no way." And I seen it
wow.
firsthand. I seen it firsthand. And then we kept on going to the revival because it's like a week long. The revival was, and I was up
Right.
there, and I said, "I've seen him do this and everything." And it was a bunch of us martial arts guys that came up there with me, and we took our whole martial arts class just to see, and we was all going to make fun of him. That's what we was going to do because he would touch people and like they would fall and everything. And he
Right.
comes up to my buddy. And my buddy's like he was like a welterweight champion at the time, and he
Right.
touches him. Well, he falls. Well, he goes
Oh,
to touch
wow.
me, and I look at him right in his eyes. I said, "It ain't going to work, old buddy." And he literally grabbed me by my wrist. He touches my wrist. He goes to my ear and he says, he said, "Relax, son. It's the Lord's time." And he tapped my head, and I swear to God, I thought he put me in another world. I could
Oh,
not get
wow.
up. I'm watching people on the floor. They wasn't trying to get up, but here I am trying to fight it and push myself and do a push up just to try to get up. And I swear to God, PG, it felt like there was a hand that anchored me down. And I tried for 30 or 40 minutes to fight that. I could not get up. I mean, I could get a little bit up, and it would just knock me down. After it was over, everybody was getting up and everything except me. I had no energy whatsoever. They had to carry me to the van, and then they had to carry me inside the house off the church bus, literally off the church bus. They helped carry me inside the house and laid me on my couch. I laid there until the next morning, and my mom brought me some hot cocoa. I couldn't even pick the damn glass up. My hands were shaking. I couldn't even hold it. I couldn't even pick a glass up. My energy was totally gone until the end of that day, like, and then it started returning. It was crazy, and that's true. And I swear on, I'll take a polygraph test to that. And that's when I started really, really believing in God.
Right. Wow. Seriously.
Well, see,
Well,
Calpins
it
is
was,
where
it
Calpins.
was like it was like you were paralyzed, it wasn't it?
Yes, I couldn't move. Literally,
Yeah.
I could not move.
Like you just your body's, ain't like and it scared you. It
Right?
scared you.
You ever wake up at night and you're like you can't move, and it takes a minute to come to?
Half awake. You're like half
Yeah,
awake.
well, like half awake, but you can't move
Or
and stuff. You're like,
or
whoa.
like or like your hand goes to sleep
Yes, like
and
that. Well, it was
and you
like
can
my
pull
whole
it
body
out.
was like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look up the history of cow pens, they used to have witches and stuff there, and that's where they slaughtered witches. Cow pens, it
Wow.
was made for
Yeah.
witches and stuff. Look at it.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Whoa. So, like, was he able to, like cast whatever it was out and heal this girl or
Yeah, I mean, she was fine afterwards. She went to church and everything.
oh,
It was, everything was good.
did her parents move out of that house?
I don't know whatever happened to him. After that, I started wrestling in the ASPW, and I went on to
Right,
Alabama, and I just started a career. I mean, I was really really young at that time.
right, right. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm shocked you even stayed. I'm shocked you even stayed there to see it. That's I'm shocked you even was brave enough to stay there and watch that shit. Like feet don't fail me now, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I was baptized, when I was real young and everything. I got saved when I was young, and
Right,
it goes on. There's a whole lot of stories that ties in with that because we was only there for like a few months
right.
because of all the supernatural stuff that we was around. We moved. We got out of there.
Thank God.
But that goes into all kinds of things. Like when I went into ASPW, the guy Dexter Hammond,
Right,
he also went by Dexter Hawley. He had like 4 or 5 different names. He was wanted by the U.S. Marshals. Me and my brother was taken, and there was a lot of things happened in that. That's what got my brother on the wrong track. It got my brother to doing bad things, and
yeah,
that's
right,
when my brother killed that John Berger guy. He pushed him off the Eufaula, Alabama bridge into the alligators, and that's a fact. That's true. He was never seen after that. There is no mentioning of him ever since after that. No
right,
mentioning of him. I remember his mother trying to talk to my mom, and like again, I was 18 at the time. I was turning 18 at the time. Shelby was about 13 or 14, maybe 15. And I remember my mom and his mom on the phone, and she was crying, "Where's my young and all that?" But he
right,
wasn't around. He wasn't around. So what he had done, he took me and Shelby and couple and John Berger, and he used us for his big wrestling gimmick and stuff. And
right,
he defrauded a lot of people. And it was really crazy on how it happened. But in the end, U.S. Marshals and everything rode back on buses with us to make sure we got back home. It was a neat story. That's why I said it was like when I was in the ASPW. I went to ASPW, CWF, and I was over age. I just had turned 18, but
right,
Shelby was still a minor and everything. Nobody knew where he wouldn't let us call. He had us working at Lake 98, Eufaula, Alabama, Lake 98 radio station, and
right,
it was 97.9, but they call it late 98. And
right.
he was making the money that we was making. He was getting our checks. He would give them to us.
Wow.
Yes, it was really, really bad. And we found I remember Kathy, she was there. She worked there too. She's one of the callers. She was one of the front desk operator. And,
Right,
she seen what was going on, and she got with me and she said, "There's something bad going on here." And I said, "Yes." So I went with her without him knowing it because Shelby was already gone with Dexter. And I don't know what the hell they was out doing, But as I went with her and everything, and I remember her calling the police, and I remember we was staying at it was Red Roof Inn over there. So when the police raided the hotels, like they found he wasn't there, he was already gone, but they got in his suitcase and they found like 27 different driver's license with different names on it, different IDs, different names on credit cards and stuff. And they put a thing out. You could probably look it up. I mean, I remember they got me and they was able to track Shelby down, and he got
Right.
away. He took him and a bunch of other two wrestlers back to North Carolina. I don't know whatever happened to him again. But they got us and they contacted my mom and my mama and my papa, and they was able to get us tickets back to Corbin on a Greyhound bus, really on a Greyhound bus. And there was a marshal that rode the bus with us the whole way, the intersections, all that. They rode
Because
the bus with us the whole way. And I
because
remember when we got, yeah, I
the
remember
ones
when we got there and
that
everything, they helped us, they escorted us off the bus and they had a few people, they had
did
people
they
waiting on us and stuff. And
did they
it was
question
nice.
you about the did they question you about the young man that got pushed to the alligators?
Well, his mom, John Berger, the guy's name was John Berger. I never said, look, okay. So what happened is I was at the hotel and, literally when I tell you this, I was a cruiserweight champion at the time. And, he was buying me a bunch of, jewelry. So for my gimmick, I was like a smart ass kind of guy, but, I took kind of like, um, more of a heel approach. Like I had a pretty bad attitude and everything, but I was supposed to be like a fancy guy and everything. It didn't care about nothing. That was my gimmick. So I had to have jewelry and stuff to pull the gimmick off. We would really go in the stores and stuff, and I would just point out what I wanted. Well, I just thought this guy had to like big money and stuff because I was making good money doing it, and he would just pick the gold chains out and everything and have them on. And I was like, oh my God, what in the world? And then the next thing you know, Shelby, I caught on to some stuff he was doing. He had, uh, he had screwed some people over real bad. And I seen he wouldn't give her money to us. And here I am, at that time, I'm 18 years old. Well, $500 to me is a lot of money,
That's
you
right.
know,
Oh yeah.
at that time, I'm just 18 years old. And
Especially back at that time. I
mhm.
mean, that was damn good money.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I was able to, get my money, and I said, "Why's he getting my money for? Where's my last week's check at?" Oh,
Right.
well, we already gave it to somebody. We already gave it to Dexter, and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, "What in the world's going on with this?" Hey, hold on one second.
Wow. That's quite interesting, right? That was quite interesting. You know, they say God, God leads us. We're going a little bit in outfield, but you know what? That's where God's taking us. I don't, there's a lesson in this. There's a lesson in this, you guys. A lesson. Somebody needed to hear it tonight, right? Somebody needed to hear it tonight. It definitely perked my ears up, right? Anyway, I was wanting to tell you guys, and this is, as you can see, this is a loop. This is a loop right here. And as me and Ernie was talking about, you know, Candace didn't, law enforcement knows that the timeline, because she didn't get home till like 3:15, 3:30. They know that she followed Chad out of Ben Hill Road after 4:30. So they know that when she came in, she was up on the hill, almost an hour before she came back off, went down to Fred's to meet up with Chad, and then came out of Ben Hill Road onto Beach Creek and went somewhere. Now, Wi-Fi is not real good down in that area, and that's why, cameras are no good in that area. Nobody really, you got to have Wi-Fi to operate, to operate cameras. I lost Ernie for a minute. Maybe he'll be back. You guys. But the thing is they don't, people say, oh, there's camp. No, there's not. In places like that where even law enforcement has to, they have to bring in special, equipment for law enforcement to have Wi-Fi in areas like that. They're feeding off of, um, basically, the equipment that's brought in to strengthen Wi-Fi so law enforcement can actually, have access to it while they're inside of these type of areas. So, it's like would do no good, really do no good until, they figure out a way to, to update and strengthen the Wi-Fi in those areas. It really ain't, it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars to try to put surveillance in those areas. Um, trail cams is about the best you're going to get, right? Is with trail cams, and that's because they run off of charge and off of a chip. You take the chip out, you put it in another device, and they record by motion they record, and then but it records to a chip, right? You don't really need Wi-Fi to run trail cams. So with that being said, it works better. It works better. And that's exactly what they saw. It was a trail cam of a neighbor's down as you're leaving out of Ben Hill Road, who had the surveillance of Chad Arnold, going out of Ben Hill, and Candace right behind him. And that's how law enforcement knew. And that's how they were able to get a hold of Chad and talk to him, about what conspired that day with Candace being, following him out of Ben Hill Road. And he said that he had went to Fred's, and that's where he, seen her. And he said, yeah, she did follow him out. But then after they got to Beach Creek, he's like, I don't know where she went. Oh yeah, I think he does. I think she stayed right on his tail and followed him somewhere. I thought it was over to Morrison Cemetery, to Timothy Morrison's gravesite. But it could have been, straight down where they're looking right now as a holding tank, because like they said, Andy texted Candace and said, it's done. And Jody Sue confirmed that, yeah, that was a real text. But Andy accidentally texted to Candace instead of who he was supposed to text it to. Bullshit, right? Bullshit. Anyway, so we know the text was real that Hunter was talking about to Candace from Andy. And I think Hunter gave it up because he wasn't going to go down, he wasn't going to go down on his own, with everything going on. He's saying there's more people than myself involved in all of this. I just played one part. There's other people playing parts too, right? So when he said it's done, it's possibility that, he had Chad set up to take, because that's his uncle as well. We know now, thanks to Jody Sue coming up on here, that that's as much Andy's uncle as it is Fred's uncle. So we know he texted, it's done. So he may have had Chad, leading Candace down to Van Hill Road to use it as a, as a storage, kind of like a storage until, they're able to getting ready to put the first part of the coffin, drop the first part of the coffin, the vault, into the grave, because they need the vault to cover up the tote, the black tote. They would need the vault to cover it up. And, because they don't want no search dogs, running around, a grave that has a black tote down in there and no vault yet. So they could have took the black tote down to, to this place that they're looking at right now, and they could have used that area for a holding tank until they could get it back up there and, put the vault in on top of it. Like they said, everybody knows everybody. These graves, these people digging this grave and messing with this grave, they're not going to be looked into. They got a person who just passed away that they're digging this grave for. Law enforcement knows Timothy Morrison. They know that this man passed away. They know that's his gravesite over there being dug and prepped and everything taken care of. And they're going to have all respect, right? They're going to hold respect for someone, and for the person and their family, being deceased and in mourning. So, they're not going to really be watching these grave diggers and what these grave diggers are doing. I mean, they're not going to look in there. They're not going to say, hey, stop, we need to look in here before you drop that vault. I think if they would have found something they don't want to find. But they didn't, out of respect, because they didn't expect or, think that someone could do something like that. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. If, this dirt is holding some type of, scent or something of summer, or maybe some article of clothing or something in, of that nature. We don't know what they found, or what exactly they're looking for down there. But my personal opinion is, when you see a picture where this black toad is there on the 12th, and then when Chris McDonough goes up there, like, a week after Summer comes up missing, and that black toad is completely gone. It's gone. And Candace is mentioning a black toad inside Grandis's vehicle. Summer's supposed to be laying against, when she was against a brown box. It makes you think, right? And, and she did go down to Fred's place. She did meet up with Chad Arnold. And supposedly search dogs hit on Chad's driveway, which would make perfect sense. If she throwed the tote in the vehicle with Summer, went down there, and they put her in the tote, which they probably did, because Cotton Simpson said she was in a box. He said she's in a box, and that would be a box to him. That black tote would be a box to Cotton Simpson. He's a man. He don't think to say, tote bag or a Rubbermaid tote, or, men don't describe stuff like us women do. Women are more, into the, if you ask men about jerseys, if you want to talk to a man about a jersey, or, tennis shoes, or, sports stuff, oh man, they could tell you everything about that, right? They could tell you the whole line of sporting goods and everything. But when it comes to, you tell a man, I want a Louis Vuitton for Christmas. He's like, you want a what? What do you want? One of those, you're not in high school anymore. You want one of those things that the marching band, that baton thing they're throwing around? Is that what you're talking about? And hell, they only remembered that because, they're looking at the women spinning them, right? Like the cheerleaders, they don't have no ideal. They have no ideal, about all the stuff that women, we say tote and, our tote bag, our Rubbermaid tote, we use all the terms. A man will be like, like your mother said, get her bag, and they're only tote out of it. Your mom's got a bag around here somewhere she's wanting, I don't know what kind of bag it is. This is a man's talk. Your mom's looking for a box. She says there's a box here or there. Where's that box? It's a tote. But they don't use those, they're men. They're men. And Cotton said, she's in a box, right? He said he saw her in a box. He was at Fred's house. The very day they found him the next morning. At Laurel Run Park, deceased. And the night before, the very evening before they found him, he was at Fred's house, and Fred and this guy followed him. Fred and this guy followed Cotton, followed him. They followed him. I was thinking of something. Hold on.
Cemetery, and I don't know what the church's name is, but
is it Dunk?
see,
It's Dunker to Cotton's and there's home. I believe that's the cemetery.
Road that
coming out of Kingsport that day.
Yeah.
They're right in the vicinity.
where they took a picture and video at was Merle Road but video.
All right. So they're all in this vicinity together.
Yeah.
They're all in this one vicinity together. Mountain View Road. And I know
Cotton's sister used to own a white HHR. And then after Summer went missing and stuff, they had it painted or traded it in, and it's a blue HHR now. I've got pictures of it.
right. Now, did Don Wells, Don Wells and Candace both, they're adamantly saying, we don't know Cotton Simpson. We don't know this guy. We ain't never seen this guy. We know nothing about this guy. Is that true?
Well, I do know that Cotton, the last time I spoke to him, he was talking about being up at 110 the day Summer went missing. And he's talking about sleeping with mother and daughter. He didn't say whether it was Candace and Grandis or Summer and Candace.
Right.
That's what kind of confused me, He didn't specifically say exactly which one.
Do you remember that right after Summer's disappearance that Don and Candace and all of them, they was acting really... Grandis ran the hell out of there. Andy Bernard ran the hell out of there.
Well, see, the law enforcement made Grandis leave because she's not allowed around children, period.
Well,
I do know that.
There was no children. They took the boys and Summer was missing. There was no children. So...
Well, she didn't come. See, she left and then come back after the boys was took.
Right. She took off. Actually, Grandis took the hell out of there after the boys were taken. And Andy Bernard, I don't know which one of them got out of there the fastest because Grandis went first. Andy went right after Grandis. Jody Sue went right after Andy. And the funny thing is right there after Cotton Simpson came up on Alive, Cotton Simpson had quite a bit of money on him. He had just barely done... Was he at your house the day?
Yeah.
He was there
the day before.
The day before he ended up Dead or the very
Yeah.
day?
The day before.
See, it was the evening before. They found him the next morning. They found him, some joggers found him the next morning unalived in Laurel Run Park. So, he was unalived. He was unalived, sometime the evening before when he was with Fred. When he was, this is when he was unalived. They found him the next morning and he'd been laying there for a while, right? He'd been laying there for a while. And the timeline fits because they asked Fred, how do you know? How did you know? What happened when no one else did? We didn't release this. We did not release, what the injuries that unalived Cotton Simpson. How did you know? What blows took this man out? How did you know that? Because there's no way Fred could have known, and Fred did know, right? He did know, and in law enforcement, and he failed the lie detector test. He failed the lie detector test as well. He was at your home, but he wasn't.
The evening before.
He wasn't.
Not the day that they found him. No, I didn't know nothing about they even finding him. And Marvin Simpson had told me that they had found him.
Marvin. Marvin told, Marvin went running. Marvin was waiting for the news, and he went running it right back to Fred the same day they found Cotton. As soon as Cotton was found, Marvin Simpson heard about it. He went running straight to Fred. Ain't that suspicious? Ain't that suspicious that the first one Marvin wanted to tell about Cotton being found was Fred Hill, the good old buddy that he was with the evening before when Cotton was unalived, following this man, right? Sounds suspicious to me.
He told me that Betty Jo Simpson had called him and told him that they had found Cotton and stuff, and that he had a big gash in his back of his head and stuff. That's why they give me a polygraph, because they hadn't released that he had a gash in the back of his head. And the only reason I knew is because
the only reason that you knew is why, Fred? Well, how did you know?
She had told Marvin, and Marvin.
Oh, she had told Marvin, and Marvin had told him. She told Marvin, and Marvin had told him. When law enforcement had told nobody. Law enforcement told nobody about this, But Marvin, how do we know that anyone told Marvin? Fred said Marvin told him. But Marvin was with Fred, so they have to make up someone else. They got to make up somebody else. Somebody else needed to tell Marvin, so Marvin could tell Fred, because Fred and Marvin was the two people who followed Cotton when he became unalived, right? So of course they're gonna need Billy Joe. They're gonna need, this woman. I mean, that Cotton's been around his whole life and never done nothing to him. They're going to need to blame. They're going to need to blame somebody else. And who better to blame than her, right?
Marvin had told me. Right. And that's the only reason I knew,
Right. I'm thinking. I said, because I had me thinking. Hold on, I'm trying to find out exactly when Cotton passed away. If you know the exact date that somebody passes away is significant to you. And if it's significant to you, then you're where law enforcement wants to look. I'm giving Fred time to answer me. I'm giving Fred time to tell me when Cotton passed away.
Best I remember, it was I want to say February the 14th or something. I don't of 2023 maybe.
He knew the month, the day, and the year. I said, I'm checking it right now.
I'm not for sure. Seemed like that's what date I remember somebody saying. I'm not for sure.
February the 14th, 2023. Exactly. Right?
But see, Cotton used to work at Warriors Path up there as a maintenance before a few years before Summer went missing and stuff.
And he came out on disability.
Yeah.
And he was getting quite a bit of money. He had been in jail for 6 months, and that money had piled up in his bank account, which would have come to around $18,000. It's what he would have had in his bank. And when he was at your house, and then the following morning he was found dead.
The next day, sometime the next day, I don't know what time.
He was found dead.
They said some hikers had found him or something.
Right, the next morning. And Don and Candace, he said he was up there. Now, could he have left your house and stopped by the Wells house?
No, because me and Marvin actually had followed him and stuff to the top of the mountain, and we turned around that top of the mountain at the Mountain View at the stop sign, because when he was at my house, he was wanting to buy a boat and stuff, and I was in partners with somebody else on the boat, and I told him I couldn't really price it right then. I had to get with them and stuff to take and find out what they wanted for their part, you know. Right. And then he got to talking about he was worried about having money and stuff on him. And
now listen to this real close. Listen to this real close, you guys. It's what he would have had in his bank. And when he was at your house, and then the following morning he was found dead.
The next day, sometime the next day, I don't know what time.
He was found dead.
They said some hikers had found him or something.
Right, the next morning. And Don and Candace, he said he was up there. Now, could he have left your house and stopped by the Wells house?
No, because me and Marvin actually had followed him and stuff to the top of the mountain, and we turned around that top of the mountain at the Mountain View at the stop sign, because when he was at my house, he was wanting to buy a boat and stuff, and I was in partners with somebody else on the boat, and I told him I couldn't really price it right then. I had to get with them and stuff to take and find out what they wanted for their part, you know. Right. And then he got to talking about he was worried about having money and stuff on him. And I don't know why he was talking about worried about getting robbed or whatever. But me and Marvin actually followed him we was trying to make sure he made it home or whatever. But once he got to the top of the mountain, instead of turning left to go to his house, he turns right and goes towards Betty Jo.
Oh, ain't that suspicious? Ain't that suspicious? When he gets to the top of the hill, he turns towards Betty Jo's instead of going towards his house, and he's worried because he's got a ton of money. That makes me think someone else was driving his vehicle. That makes me think that someone else made that wrong turn towards Betty Joe's back to that secluded area by that cemetery where they parked his vehicle, perfectly parked his vehicle. And that's where he became unalived. And he's with who? Fred Hill and another criminal, right? He's with two criminals, and they know he's got money. They know he's got a crap ton of cigarettes. They know, and let's not forget, right? That let's not forget what Laura said. Hold on just 1 second here. Because I have right here. Laura, the day that Summer came up missing, was you at home or was you with Fred?
I was with Fred. We was hauling cars.
You were hauling cars that day? And
Yep.
So Chad was at your property? We were hauling cars. I thought they were hauling motorcycles. I thought they was hauling one motorcycle with somebody they don't know and haven't seen ever again, then hauling two motorcycles with someone they do know, which, and still know and always will know. Too many damn stories here. First they make it to the scrapyard and then they don't make it to the scrapyard. Then they're hauling, these motorcycles and they're, no, you can't be doing all that shit on one day. Can't be doing all that shit on one day when a 5-year-old little girl came up missing. You can't be doing all of that. But listen to what she says about Cotton in this video right here.
He come in while we was going to the crusher, and
he said,
and he seen Candace at the end of the driveway.
And
he said that was.
Now, they didn't go to no crusher, according to Fred Hill. They didn't go to a crusher. So, when Cotton Simpson came in there, Fred and Laura must have seen him. They had to have seen him. They had to have seen Candace. Because, Fred says they was hauling motorcycles, not going to no crushers. And he says that they wasn't even hauling no motorcycles. He had to come back into Ben Hill Road about 4:15, 4:20, to hook up a trailer on his vehicle to go help some motorcycle person, which is going to take time. And if he didn't come back into then, and Candace is down there at 4:30, and Chad Arnold's in there at 4:30, down at Fred's house, then Fred had to meet up with them because there's no way, he's going to come into Ben Hill Road and be back out of Ben Hill Road within a 15-minute time span when you got to hook a trailer up and you got to do a bunch of shit before you can leave. So, that's going to take at least 20, 25 minutes or more, no matter how good you are. This is if you're really good at doing what you do. It's going to take that much time because, you got to back that truck up precisely for that trailer. You got to get out, you got to unhook this, you got to unhook that, you got to, then you got to back up some more. You got to make sure that you got it just right. I mean, there's a whole lot to getting that trailer out of, hooked up and out of that freaking shithole Ben Hill Road, right? It takes time. And I mean, hooking up a trailer is about like changing a tire. It's like changing a flat tire. It takes a minute. It takes a damn minute to unhook everything and rehook. So, and then put everything away, the tools and everything away that you're using to do all of this with. And you probably want to wash your hands because they're going to be pretty dirty, right? So you're probably going to want to wash your hands off as well and dry them up a little bit before you get back in your vehicle to be driving away. So with all of this being said, he would have had to been there when Candace is heading down there and Chad Arnold's coming in. He wouldn't have been out of Ben Hill Road yet. No way in hell. So why is he lying? Why is he lying, about all of this? I don't know. I don't know. But I know Cotton Simpson was down there at Fred's the very evening before he passed away. And I know they were having a conversation about Summer. And Fred when Laura asked what the conversation was, and was it about Summer? He said it was about Summer. And she's like, what was said? He says, I'm not going to tell you. I'm protecting you. Now you're going to hear her say this during this video.
Started up a hill, and she turned around and looked at him and said, do you know if they're home? And he said, well, their truck's not there. And said she turned around, walked back down there and got in her truck, didn't even knock on the door or nothing.
Wow. Y'all feel like the
Oh, so and what time was that?
I think he said it was about 3:30 or 4, probably about 4:30, something like that.
Did 4:30, something like that. Around 4:30, something like that. Exactly when Fred was in there supposedly hooking up a damn trailer. Right when he's in there. They're meeting up. Chad see if there was anybody else in the car with her? Did Chad see if there was anyone else in that car with her? Did he mention that she had any passengers? Or
he said they wasn't.
He said nobody was in the vehicle but her?
I think so, yeah. I think that's what he told the law enforcement.
That nobody was in the vehicle with her when she came down there but her?
Just her.
And
She said she was looking for her little girl. And Chad said that for somebody that was looking for her little girl, she didn't give it much effort because she didn't even walk up on the hill and knock on the door or nothing.
She shows up down there. She shows up down there. Hold on.
Okay.
She shows up down there at 3:30, 4 o'clock, around, between 3:30 around 4 o'clock
right
at the house, telling Chad that she's looking for Summer.
And this is over 2 hours before she calls 911, right? At 6
Wow. Yeah, she did. And she's all by herself in the vehicle.
See, that don't add up.
No, this ain't adding up at all.
Candace was seen by
Did Chad say if she was in the truck or in the Subaru?
I think she was in the truck.
She was in Don's white truck?
No, she was I think it was Grandis's truck.
In Grandis's truck, not the Suburban, not the green Suburban. If you notice, Laura was talking. She was talking like, she knew what she's talking. I'll talk to you when I'm done. I'll talk with you. She was talking, like she was there instead of, getting secondhand information. When you get secondhand information, you're like, I don't know, I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't remember everything. I think she was in, supposedly in Grandis's vehicle. Maybe she could have been in, something else because this is secondhand information. But she's like, no, she's in Grandis's vehicle. She shows up, at around this particular time of 4:30. It's like Laura's there, like she's there. And I think she was. I think she was there. I think Fred was there. I think Cotton Simpson was there. And I think Candace and this Chad guy was there. I think they all was there, if you ask me. That's just my bourbon.
No.
She was driving Grandis's vehicle.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Can you just lay out what Chad said? Like just like what he had told?
That just that she was when he came in the holler and pulled up, that she was parked at the bottom of the hill, and that she was, I think he said she was hollering for Summer, and he turned around, looked at him, and hollered at him and asked him if he knowed if we was home, and he just kind of looked at her like, well, duh, the truck's not here, you know.
Right. Exactly.
And I mean, we was all pretty rude to them. I'm not gonna lie, because they wasn't very stand-up people.
Exactly. And then he follows her because you guys weren't home. He follows her out of the holler.
Out of the holler.
And she was actually there looking for Summer at that time. And what time? And you said Fred and you had to get somewhere before 4:00.
Well, yeah, we had to be at the scrapyard before 4:00 to haul car off.
And what time did you guys actually leave?
Shoot, we was pushing it. It was about 3 or 3:15 because everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Okay, so basically you guys were going out of the holler when Candace and Grandis and Summer would have been coming in to go home. So
Seemed
now
like we passed them on Lone Star.
on Long Star, how far, like how many minutes is that before she would have gotten to her home?
About 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
If that.
Now she says that, at about 3:30, they're passing Candace on Long Star. Right? So that means Candace didn't get home till after 3:30, putting away groceries, pulling all of her shenanigans, and then meeting down at their house at 4:30. So Fred and Laura actually know what time Candace came back into the hill. I don't think they passed them. I think they were waiting on them. And they seen them come in and go up on the hill and was waiting down there for Candace to come down and show up down at Fred's house. I think they were waiting. And I think they saw him, been looking for him and saw him come in. That's my opinion. This is I pulled the wrong video. I'm sorry about that. I have to pull the other one. I'll have to pull the other one out where Laura says that, yes, Fred talked to her about Cotton. So I will pull that out before we leave out of here tonight. I'll pull it out and try to get that played out to you. But we do have Don Wells verifying Candace was down at Fred's house.
Yeah, it's right there.
Right.
Don, do you know who a Chad Arnold is?
Yes, I do.
So, somebody asked me. Said,
Yeah, Chad Arnold was married to. No, he didn't die.
I thought he died.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway. But Chad Arnold was at Fred Hill's house when Candace was looking for Summer. She drove back in the holler to Fred Hill's house, and Chad Arnold was hanging out back there.
There you go. She went down and Chad Arnold was there. He was hanging out there. Yeah, at 4:30, Dawn, at 4:30, Chad Arnold, Summer's supposed to be with Candace and Grandis at 4:30. She's supposed to be getting something to eat, putting away groceries, getting something to eat, playing with her toys. And then she was supposed to, about 4:30, she was supposed to be getting called outside to help Grandis and Candace plant flowers and wash their hands and get some candy and walked back over to the house where the boys were hollered at to watch her, and Candace watched her go all the way in the house. So between 4:30 and 5:45, 5:55, Summer was in the custody of 2 adult women on the property, planting flowers, washing hands, getting candy, and then walked all the way back, the whole 10 feet over to the door and watched inside, Donald. Right? So what was she doing down there at 4:30 when flowers were supposed to, right at the time flowers are supposed to start getting planted? She's down there meeting up with Chad, and it sounds like Fred and all of them, right? That's my opinion. Why don't you answer that? But Don Wells confirms, yeah, she's down there meeting up with Chatty Boy, right? She's down there with Chatty Boy, Freddie and Chatty. Absolutely. And then we have, good old Andy. We have good old Andy.
I have said this since the beginning to people that made a difference. That I've told people about having the dream that I've, in the open grave. It's been told. It's not a lie. And I have heard my whole life that the best time to get rid of somebody is when there's an open grave. The dude was buried on what day? The 18th? Okay, so 3 days after Summer went missing, they buried that dude. Do you think they dug the grave the day that Summer went missing? I'm saying it was dug between the day the dude died and the day Summer went missing, the 11th. Not if she went over there on the 15th when.
As you've seen, he knew exactly the day the man died. He died on the 11th, buried on the 18th. Man, I'm going to tell you what, they had their eyeballs on that guy's gravesite, right? They had their eyes on it. If you got your eyes on something, these kind of people right here, if they got their eyeballs on something, that's where you need to be looking. That's where you need to be looking.
Candace left at some point in time off that fucking hill.
Oh, Candace at some point in time went off that effing hill. Now listen where she went, because he confirms it too.
Took her over there. Maybe she went to Fred's and Fred helped her. She
went to Fred's. She went to Fred's. Even Andy knew she went to Fred's. Right? Because he's the one that sent the message right about that time saying, it's done. Right? It's done. It's all worked out. It's all worked out. Whatever took place, it's all worked out. This shows you that all of these people had their hand in what happened to that innocent 5-year-old little girl on those milk jugs. It shows you that they all had a hand in this little innocent child's disappearance, in my opinion. All the evidence is there. All the evidence is there. Now, why it hasn't been, prosecuted upon, I don't know. I don't know. But it's sure to hell's there. And the only thing I could think of why Andy's and Fred's uncle's place is getting a workover by law enforcement, the only reason I could think of is they took something there to store it. Maybe they didn't put the whole tote. Maybe they didn't put the whole tote in the ground. Maybe they dumped it and then stored it at that particular man's property. I don't know. Maybe, because you can't let search dogs find that tote. that somebody, that somebody's been in, that they're looking for. You can't let them find the tote. So I'm not sure what's going on down on that other property. But something's sure to hell going on, right? Something's going on. But Andy's validating it. He's validating it.
Was open on the 15th. All she would have had to do is go over there and dig down just a little bit more, put her in there, cover her back up. When they brought the vault in a few days before they buried the dude, the concrete vault would have been set on top of it, and nobody would.
And he even knew when the vault's coming in. He said just a few days before the dude's put down, just a few days before, meaning, he's buried on the 18th, meaning that they brought the vault in either on the 16th or the 17th and laid it in there. And that's what I'm saying. They might have been using the other place as a holding tank. They may have been using the other place as a holding tank, because usually, they do all of this stuff at nighttime. They do this stuff in the dark, and law enforcement's gone, right? I mean, the first night they went up there, looking for Summer, they knocked off, they all went home around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Everybody left and went and got their sleep, including Robin, good old Robin. She went home, go to sleep too. And they all got up the next morning and started looking, searching again, right? So law enforcement was leaving. And grave diggers, when they do their work, they do it at night, right? They do that stuff when people they don't want a bunch of attention. So they do their work at night. And how hard would it have been to have her put somewhere until they could bring her back, put her under the vault. When the vault gets ready to be slipped in, they could slip her in too and set everything on top of her. And but in the meantime, she's just down the road. Like Don said. He said, Summer, where you been? She said, just down the road. Just down the road. Well, Van Hill Road, the place they're searching right now, it's just down the road. The cemetery is just down the road. Actually, all of this shit is just down the road, right? Everything they're talking about is just down the road. Right? That's insane. That's insane. But Fred Hill pulled the can. Watch this. Watch him do the can dance. There's can. Remember can did the can dance? Oh, you're right there, Gail. You gotta get out of here. I don't want to talk about it no more. Oh, I gotta go. Remember that? Oh, hell yeah. You guys remember. She really put on a show, didn't she? Like a fucking clown. Like a clown. She put on a real show there, right? Got taking a mic off, got up, went, needed to leave. Don sitting there with a dumb look on his face. Same one he had when, he was trying to make it one vehicle and she made it a different one. Funny thing is, they talk about a red truck. They talk about a blue van. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that. God willing, if we're here tomorrow night, we're going to talk about that. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. But I know a lot of people, I know a lot of people, are single at home and everything. And Thanksgiving is, holidays, the holidays, ain't the best. Ain't the best, when you're living alone and so forth and so on. There's a lot of people, you know, that ain't celebrating with people and everything, you know, they're just kind of celebrating on their own. And so I'm going to try to make it in tomorrow night. I'm going to try to make it in, you know, for all the people who, you know, who we're family here. We're family. So I'm going to try to make it in and spend some time with the family tomorrow night. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, right? Because there's a whole lot I think we've forgotten. I think there's a lot of stuff we've forgotten in the past because we've been moving to the future. And we need to go back. We need to go back. We need to, you know, remember this stuff for Summer's sake, right? For Summer's sake, we need to remember everything because everything is evidence. Everything is crucial, and everything put together is what makes the puzzle to solve the case. So you know, we're going to do our diligence here with this little girl's case for sure. But there's Can, you know, and here's Fred. Here's Fred. Look at it. Look at his face. Look, he is not happy, folks. Look at this. Look at the way he's looking at Ziggy and that phone. He's like, you know, he is not. Look at his squinted eyes. And he's clenching his jaw. You know, this guy ain't about to cry. This guy is about to be pissed off. He's about to be, you know, there's some real shit going through his mind. Take a look at his face. That is anger, honey, not sorrow, right? That's not sorrow. That's anger. That's all I got to say. Now watch this. He does the can dance. He does the can. There, look. That ain't mother freaking sorrow. That's mother freaking something. Something's got him upset. And I don't know. I hear that, you know, that thing in his ear is connected to his phone. So is there somebody on his phone talking to him? Is somebody on his phone saying something to him like, you know, dumbass, what are you talking about? You don't need to be talking about that, you know. Could there be somebody he's listening to? You know, whatever it is, it's got him, you know, upset. And watch what happens. And this is the weird thing because he pulls the can. Here he goes. Take a look, y'all. There he goes. Oh man, I'm upset. You know, and Ziggy even tells him. Look, she even tells him, she's like, he's upset. She didn't say you know, she didn't say that, you know, he's you know, remorseful or, you know, Summer's case really touches his soul and you know, she said he's upset. That's what she said. He is upset. He's upset, guys. You know, I thought he's supposed to be sorrowful. I thought he's supposed to have been, you know, something about all of this, you know, kind of made him feel sorrowful, merciful, or, you know, caring about. No, man, when I first seen his face before he ever walked away, when I first saw his face, I was like, oh hell, he's pissed off. When she was showing that label, you know, to that particular place, I knew he was something about, you know, this particular meal place had him, you know, all kinds of worked up, right? It had him all kinds of, I mean, he didn't like being in that mix. He did not like being in that mix, you guys. That's for sure. And he had to get out of it. He had to, you know, the anger was showing. Or whatever somebody's saying in his ear, because it is connected to his phone. And when he said he couldn't hear Dawn, He couldn't hear Don call. His mother freaking earpiece is connected to his phone. If his phone rings, he hears it. He hears it. So there's no way in hell that he didn't hear Don Wells calling him. And that's bullshit. He just didn't want to answer. There you go. He's gone. Like the can. He's gone, right? He pulled the can right there, and look at Ziggy's face. Look at her face. She's like, oh my gosh. You know, oh my gosh. He left me here with that, with this shit on my own, right? Look at her. He left me here with this shit on my own. You know, there you go. There you go. Straight up. I mean, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on with these people? I don't even know, you guys. I don't even know. I mean, like, I think all of their bullshit, is coming back to haunt them, right? It's becoming very haunting upon them. That's my opinion. You know, all of them lies, they're catching up. They're catching up. You can't run from it. You can't run from something. You know, you can't run from it forever, right? You can try, but you're not going to outrun it. And it's catching up to them. The truth is, the truth about all of this and who's involved in it is coming to the light. And there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing they can do about it. And that is what's got them upset. That is what's got them scared. That is what's got them on the damn run. They needed to get out of there, right? Just saying. That's the way it is. But I think we've had an interesting, very interesting night tonight, you guys. Very interesting night tonight. We went left field for a minute, but that was interesting too, right? That was very interesting as well. And I hope Bernie comes back. I hope he comes back, shows back up in our next lives to, to share some more. He's got some real stories to tell. Ernie got some real interesting stuff to tell. And I'm interested in hearing it. Right? I mean, I'm all ears. You guys know how PG is. It takes a lot to keep me quiet. But some of the stuff he tells, man, I'm all ears. I'm just listening. It's like, do tell. Right? You got a good do tell. PG will be quiet and listen. I'll listen like a saint. Trust me. I need to know. Right? But I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to let you know how much I appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight. And I want to let you guys know that I so appreciate everything you guys are doing for Summer Moon Utah Wells, for all of these missing kids, for every last one of them. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. These ain't even your kids. They ain't even your children, but you know what? Man, you got a real heart. You got a real loving, kind, caring heart. Don't ever let nobody take it. Don't let anyone do anything to turn it the other direction. You hang on to it. Because I'm going to tell you, people's jealous of it. There's folks out there, they're very jealous, of good people like you. Don't let them bring their hate and steal nothing from you. You keep being you. And I surely appreciate you being you and being here for all of these missing children, spending your time to do this when I know there's so many other things in life that need done, right? but you take the time out to do this. And that speaks volume. That speaks volume of how kind, caring, and loving you truly are. And PG appreciates it. I want to let you know that, you know, it is not going unnoticed. It is not going unnoticed. It is very noticeable. And God bless you. God bless each and every last one of you who are here for these babies the way you are. And I want to ask that you continue to keep the prayers going up for Summer Moon Utah Wells. I want to ask you to not just send the prayers up, but send them up with faith, with hope, with trust in God Almighty. When you talk to the Lord, know that your prayers are going to be answered. And they will. And they will. It says, whatever you ask for, know that you've already got it. And you'll have it. That's what the Bible says. So when you pray for these missing kids, know that God's going to already find them for us. Know that you've already got what you've asked for, and just sit back and wait, because it's going to be done. It's going to be done. And that's what Jesus said. And I tell you, the Bible's the only true book, the only book ever wrote in history that's 100% truth. The only book that is the bestseller in the world. The Bible is the best-selling book in the world and the most truthful book ever wrote. It's 100% truth. So if it says it, oh, Jesus is going to do it. Jesus is going to do it. So make sure that you send those prayers up for these missing little kids. This is a hard, this is a very hard topic that a lot of people dare not tread. Very, very hard to talk about, missing kids all the time. I know how hard it is. And I know how much you guys go through. And you're still here. 4.5 years later, you're still here. I'm going to tell you, as I was going out of here last night, I don't know why, but I wanted to open my mic back up and tell the people at the end of the chat, there was 156 people in the chat. 156. But I wanted to open the mic back up and tell those people that they're going to get a blessing. Now, I don't know who the 156 was. I just know there was 156. And I wanted to, summer song was, playing. And at the end, I was being, kind of pushed to open the mic up and say the 156 people were going to get a blessing. I said, Lord, I done started the live and the song, and I done, can I do it tomorrow? I'll do it tomorrow. And I told him I would. And I'm doing it now. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm telling the 156 that was left in here last night. I don't know who you are. I guess you do. I guess you know. But the 156 that was last in here last night, I just want to let you know you got a blessing. You got a blessing coming. Let me know. Let me know what your blessing was. I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear what your blessing was. But you got one coming, and you'll know it. You'll know it when you get it. So, let PG know. Anyway, I'm heading out of here, you guys. I want to say God bless, much love, happy Thanksgiving. Keep those prayers going up and keep them going up for one another. And before I leave here, make sure you guys be good. Be good. Be good, because Mama PG is going to be back. And if you ain't good, now I'm going to have to pull out my steel toe boot. I'm going to have to pull out the steel toe boot, right? So be good. Stay on that right path, you guys. God bless. Much love. Good night, everybody.
Don't you try to leave, Mama. Mama tried to sneak out.
What's up, girlfriend?
You try to sneak out on your little brat here. I just got home.
Yeah, I was trying to slip out. I got
Yeah.
like everybody, I got a whole lot. Are you making Thanksgiving dinner, girlfriend? Because I
Yes, just got home.
I got to make a whole lot of food tonight. I got a lot of food to
I do
prepare.
too.
Man, I done washed up my turkey though. I done washed it up and dressed it up, and you know, I already got it in the fridge waiting to be put in the oven.
Yep, for in the morning.
You know, and I got my ham ready, and I'm making turkey and ham and mashed potatoes, corn, green beans, sweet potato stuffing. Right?
That's
Gotta
what
make,
we're doing. Yep.
you gotta make all the
Yep.
goody good.
Gotta make macaroni salad in a little bit. I'm gonna
Oh
jump back in
yeah,
the refrigerator.
yeah. Me and my daughter's going to do that. We got to make up a potato salad, macaroni salad, and then I got to make up all the cake and all the pastries and a banana pudding. Yeah, it's going to be one thing about Thanksgiving. You sure get enough, don't you?
Yes, yes. And plenty
There's
of
no.
blessings too.
He stole my first place, Phoebe.
No. Well, I want to tell you I love you and happy Thanksgiving, and I'll call you tomorrow. Make sure
Hey,
you're
I
safe
love
and
you too,
everybody's
girl.
safe, honey.
I love you too. You
I
know
love
it.
everybody. I love everybody, but I want to let you know I was home before you got me.
Hey, tell your hubby I said happy Thanksgiving.
I will. I will. I love you,
How's
Mom.
he how's he doing? How's he doing?
Doing good. He's doing good, Mom. Doing good.
He's
We're
doing
ready to
good.
get this done. Let all the kids and grandkids enjoy it tomorrow.
Oh
All the
wow.
family.
All right. All right. Well, that's what I want to hear, girlfriend. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I hope
I
everybody.
got my blessing. Yeah. You was
Yeah.
talking about blessings, and I got mine.
Oh,
Got a
absolutely.
$400 bonus.
Oh, did you? Did you? Well,
Yep.
there you go.
Yep.
There you go. Hey, I appreciate you telling me what yours was. God bless you.
I'm blessed to
Absolutely.
get it. I work hard enough for it.
Amen. Amen. I don't know. I was just led. I was just led to tell 156 people that they got a blessing coming. I don't know what it is, but you got a blessing coming. So,
I can
that's
show you. I can prove it.
but
I got
God bless
mine.
you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving Day.
You
Absolutely.
too, Mom.
I'll be praying for y'all. I'll be praying for y'all. God, may God, be with us and keep us, right? In the name of
That's right.
Jesus.
Keep us safe.
Amen.
That's right. Amen.
Amen.
And I love you. And I'm gonna let you go. And prayers to
All right,
everybody in chat.
girlfriend. I'm heading
Love you.
out of
Happy
here.
Thanksgiving, everybody. All right.
Hey,
Love you.
happy Thanksgiving to you, girlfriend.
Love you.
Bye bye, sweetie. All right, everybody. PG is heading out of here. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless. Much love to everybody.